Got it. I had some time. I was trying to set it up to put it up on YouTube as well. So, okay, come on. Don't do silly, crazy stuff, please. I'm watching stars from last minute ago. Okay. Okay. Back to over here. I have to turn the volume down. Okay. And then we get back to Zoom. No. It's Charles. Hi, Charles. How are you, my friend? I think you're muted. Or you're being quiet. Are you muted? Can you hear me? Okay. I think you're muted. I can't hear you. Maybe you're just being quiet.
Now you can hear me.
Okay, great.
Okay.
So how you've been traveling and you're back and then you had tests and stuff. How's your week been going?
Oh, it's been going pretty good. I had my test on all my tests came back all right. I've been had a cold. I still got a cold this week. And my nose kind of stopped up, and I went to the doctor the other day and they gave me they wanted to x-ray my chest and everything. Everything looked good, and they gave me a COVID test. She said it wasn't no COVID, it was just a cold.
Yeah.
So and then I'm gonna have to have my surgery on my knee because whatever they did, it didn't work, not working. So I still be in a lot of pain every now and then. But the bone, hit against the other bone. And other day I was on the stairs and I got ready to go up and change my mind. Somebody called me, so I turned around and go back down, and I turned, where that bone hit against the nerve or something. And it really hurt.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
You gotten your results back from the MRI they did, the tube thing?
Oh, that's what they did for me? Yeah. They said everything was good on that. All this other stuff. Yeah. Everything was good. Yeah.
Great. Excellent. I've got a loose eyelash here.
Yes.
Oh, I'm glad all that stuff is great. Good.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, everything.
Yeah, of course. A lot of people here. Go ahead.
No, just everything checked out great. Just my knee now and my cold or sinus, what do you want to call it?
A lot of people. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I feel great though now.
A lot of people here are having, I guess ragweed is out. A lot of people are having, like a cold, the sinuses from the allergies from ragweed or whatever. So it seems like there's always something about blowing around, but many people I'm just running into a whole lot of people that are having all the cold type symptoms. It's ragweed, I guess.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I was thinking the other day, I was thinking about, when everybody talked about Michael Jackson when he was in a bubble, you had to look on his head, I said, pretty soon maybe you all have to put that something on our head, the face, to keep from catching something.
Yeah. Entertainers and people like Michael, I mean, they're out in front of hundreds of thousands of people coughing, sneezing, yelling. They may have all kinds, like, imagine if, like COVID, just yelling and screaming and shouting,
Right.
and be bombarded with all of that kind of stuff.
Right.
They need to do some things to protect themselves.
Right. Right.
People forget that they're people before entertainers and musicians and megastars. They're people.
Oh yeah, they do. And someone want to do so much, they take the drugs, or they keep going. You know, they don't never get
Right.
much rest. They want to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, they kind of treat themselves like machines that if I lubricate and oil and feed or whatever, give it the right drugs, and I can keep going. And it's not really what you want to do. I'm gonna change, so I can change this. All right, there. I don't know how to change this part. Since I don't use, I just need to be quiet and do it. Okay. Since I don't use the Apple except for this, I don't know how to do a lot of things that should be super simple. Sure they are. I just don't know where to find the buttons. So we'll just
I don't know anything about it. I just barely know. I finally learned how to get on to do the Tai Chi with you and everything. That's about all I do. And of course, I hook my hearing aid to my, on my phone. I hook it up so I can hear you a lot better. So
good.
That's all
good.
I know how to do. I wish I knew more, but
well, the other part is, they say the knowledge and everything about anything to do with the internet, it doubles at least every 18 months. So, I'm probably 12 years behind.
Right. That's what they say. Yeah.
Changing. Now the whole thing with the artificial intelligence and having people, so you can say something into the microphone on the computer or your phone, and it creates a paragraph about that, around that just sounds better than I'd ever be able to put it together, probably.
Right.
So
I think, don't they have where if somebody speak to you in Spanish or something, another language, they talk through the phone or whatever, and you come back to you in English? I think they have that, don't they?
I'm sure they do. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I thought someone on TV the other day doing that, and I was wondering if they have that as just a movie or something,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Translate it and.
Yeah. But all this electronic stuff, once you buy it, but a year later it's outdated, because they got something new. So.
Yeah, it's obsolete. So either way. Okay. I want to find it there. Okay, that might work. All right, let's get up and do some stuff. Okay.
Okay.
Now let me ask, since you had that incident the other day where you twisted it, is it going to be easier to do things seated or standing?
Oh, we can do it standing, and then we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll get started then. Just took the dogs out for a big walk, so they'll be coming back in a while. All excited, jumping around. I'm sorry, got to turn this around a little bit more so I'm not half on the rug and half off. All right. Find some comfortable floor. Pull yourself up right here. That core is taking the top of your skull up. keeping it secure up there. And then everything else can just relax. Just go, ah. Inhale, everything's going to expand like a big hot air balloon. Arms roll around to the front a little bit so our elbows get heavy. And I just want to keep things low. So our shoulders can roll forward and just relax. As we're doing this time, make sure my feet are about shoulder and hip width apart. Check the alignment of your knees over your toes. So the knees are coming, or looks like they're coming out between the big toe and the rest of your toes, the big toe, second toe in there. Someone's going to join us. Oh, it's Ken. Good morning, Ken. You're muted, my friend.
Overslept.
Oh,
Morning.
Good morning. I just joined about 5 minutes ago. So.
yeah. We've been doing the fat.
I couldn't get the computer to work right for some reason. I kept hitting the wrong numbers and all this.
All the time I have that, in the morning I'm a little, both me and my computer are cranky. Okay. Waking up.
Waking up. Yeah.
Oh.
A little bit more. I know it's going to follow me, but I would like for it to hit my feet. Let me see if it's going to be better if I flip it around the other way to see my feet. It's pretty tight. It's very tight. Oh, shoot. It's taking a picture of the reflection of the pad. Decide it's better to go more horizontal than vertical with this. Come here, camera. Come here, come here, come here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go the other way. It's showing the reflection of the screen on the surface it's propped up against. That's what the camera's picking up on. So let's try back this way. Oh, razzmatazz. Okay. Good space on the floor. Your feet about hips, hip width or shoulder width. Sure, for you it's shoulder. You guys are shoulders. Hips for me, wide apart. Inhale up like a million little balloons inside, which is truly what we have, about a gazillion. Filling up with air all around, and elbows get heavy, and we just go. Inhale up again. That cord on the top of our head, pulling head up. Everything else can just go. Inhale again. to do it, we're gonna start just putting the weight on one foot. Inhale over here. Over here. Embrace the moon. Everything low. Just be buoyant. We're in that wonderful lagoon in Cancun, sugary white sand. The waves come over us, back. It's gonna be like a bobber. Float up, float down. Let my hands go, turn this way. Float across with the wave, take them closer to the beach. Then inhale, let go of the wave lets go up. Just come down. Another wave is going to pick up our hands and float us across. Inhale. And just pull up with air, so of course we're more buoyant. Lift up. And then just let it go. Now we know that we're massaging everything on the inside. Little hugs, little squeeze and release. All the organs inside, muscles inside, connective tissue. Things that usually don't get that much attention or hugs. And everything is gentle, kind of inflating and then letting it go, relaxing. Everything gets to move when it's really relaxed and comfortable. No effort. You just inhale, just let the wave take care of everything else. Now I want you to be, as everything's releasing and relaxing, as you inhale, just be aware of what's going on inside. Like this morning, I'm feeling it right in here. I'm over here and I inhale and feel these muscles in here are, squeezing. Maybe I slept on them differently or wrong, whatever, but they're just waking up. We go, maybe a stronger wave takes us, turns our hands a little bit more. Of course, it's all through the hip that we turn. Everything relax, release. Hip will loosen up. Especially if we overslept a little bit. Yeah. I'll take that as a yes. Hands floats around, let go, and then come back. Different way. Now, if you've been having any tightness in this part of your neck or across your shoulder blades, down to about this part, out the bottom of the shoulder blade, we're gonna just, while we're doing this, we're just gonna dip the shoulder. Relaxing, inhale up, come across, and dip the other shoulder. Our head is just going to follow the hand. So the shoulder dips down, the head kind of dips down and comes up. Inhale, dips down. We're doing this nice and slow, exhaling. It goes down, comes up with the hands, inhale, let it go. Breathe, take a pause. I'm doing something different because my stomach is grumbling.
Maintenance is body
Yeah.
maintenance.
Yeah.
Body does that naturally.
As we're going down right about here, just let your head turn and look at the hand. You'll feel from about the base of your skull going down. Just a nice little flex of that muscle. Inhale it. Let's go. And inhale. And we we know that all of nature is circles and spirals. We being nature, we're made up of circles and spirals too. And that's why whenever we're wanting to like loosen up anything, giving it a chance to relax and let go of tension, wherever that tension came from, whatever's causing the pain. So many times when people are saying, they take their neck and they push it over and it goes crunch, crunch, crunch that way, or this way. I don't know, we've seen it in the movies or people working out someplace and suddenly we all think, oh, this is it, right, wham. And it's really not the way the neck wants to move. And that's where a lot of the tension would come from. So instead, we're just gonna let the head go down, follow the shoulder and the hand, inhale as it comes up, let go and exhale. So our head kind of makes a semicircle down. I think like making a smile. And we're right here. You're going to feel on the part that you're turning into, you'll feel these muscles here. They're waking up and they're working, relaxing. But it's not painful. It's just you can be aware of what's going on with them. You'll start to feel it right there. And I feel this here. Dogs and Bruce are back. Good morning, ladies. They had a big walk.
Well, my pain tends to be back here. And when we do this dip, right, my pain is back here.
Right through here.
Right.
Right.
But I'm noticing as I do this dip of yours, right?
Uh-huh.
That the twist, right, and the steady right leg in this case, and I twist this, I can feel all these muscles stretching out and saying, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Don't you just love it when your body goes, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah.
I got it.
And of course, the joy of it is we're not focused on that. We're not focused on that.
Exactly. We're focusing on this.
Yeah,
But
but we are aware
Dude,
of everything else, that happened.
yeah.
Just a nice way to just dip that shoulder down. A couple different things happen. It gets you dip the head with the shoulder, lift it up, and as you're starting to lift it up, you feel this leg is lifting the body up, and you feel it across like talking this part of the back a little bit. They're just moving, stretching, getting flexible. Pull it up, and this one comes down. So it's a really nice way for lower back, It will start from down, clear down here in the coccyx and tail from the waist down and across here. Just a nice wake up stretch. Goes. Now for the head, if you remember doing sit-ups before we called them crunches, in like phys ed or something, or the Army or Marines, you have to put your hands like this, and then you're supposed to come up and sit up. And it seemed like your head was 80 pounds of boulder. You know, it was just like, it just felt so hard to crunch. Now, yeah, we're doing this business, but the head was so heavy. You have to put your hands back here, you know, then you kind of support the skull as you're doing it. And then they might say, don't put your elbows forward, keep them out. Well, that does crazy things to the shoulders, but anyway. What we're doing here is we're stretching the same muscles in the neck, just flexing them. Let him wake up, get more flexible and feel good. Every time we do that, we get obviously more oxygenated blood, more nutrients into those areas, so they're not wanting to wither away. But as we dip down and just let the head follow the shoulder and watch the hand, then we're not aware of the weight of the head. It's, you know, it's that whole connection thing, even if it's right here. Maybe it's like there's a cushion here of energy. It's lifting the head up. There we go. Magic string.
Oh.
Also a good time to start flexing the jaw. All of this starts loosening up. You feel a little bit of crunching here in your jaw, maybe. So it's a good time just to come. Oh.
Oh. Oh.
Maybe you want to sing. Whatever you want to do. Just let everything get relaxed. Now, we're going to start gradually putting this into all the moves. So let's say that we were brace the move. We do our ward off a little bit there. Stroke, let the head follow. Or when we're doing waving hands and clouds. Let us always be continuous spirals and circles. And let everything relax and move together. They also create even cooler optical illusions. Optical illusions is that we're moving a whole lot farther through space than we are. It's another chance for us to work the neck, but these little side muscles from the spine out, that are so difficult to reach if they're trying to massage or get to those. And sometimes they're the ones that mentioned before. If you get this wild, crazy idea in November about taking a 22-pound turkey in a roasting pan, lifting it up, and putting it in the trunk of the car to go to take it somewhere. Right about here, that weight of that is just going to feel like craziness right through here. So we're strengthening Those little muscles in anticipation of turkeys.
Man, gobble, gobble, gobble.
Gobble, gobble, gobble. Or maybe you get a crazy notion this time of year and you're gonna, you know, move the grill, bring in a bags of sod.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah, that's stupid.
yeah, kids are not that stupid.
He's not, he ain't gonna do that. But his wife does.
Bruce is saying you guys aren't that stupid, foolish, whatever. I said, don't let their wives do that. Chuckle, chuckle. Yeah, so that great difference when you get 5 bags of soil that's been nice and dry. And then, you stack them up wherever you're gonna put them in the garden or something, and it rains. And then you say, I'm gonna, instead of lift and carry, I'm gonna drag that bag. Because now it weighs, gazillion pounds with water soaked into it. So, we just have to give ourselves a chance to not be foolish. Just,
that's what it is. Oh,
and if you're here and wave wants to carry you a little farther around, let it do it. Up to you and your wave and your body. Inhale. And down below, we've got options, of course. So we can do it. Normally, we would just be kind of going this, turn the hip, and there's movement, the weight here, weight there, but it's not that big a deal. And it's going to feel more of it in your knees than anywhere. Check the alignment of the feet, the knees. Let's say since we're doing it this way, I'm really going to put the weight down here as I settle. This knee can just kind of float up. Inhale, I do the weight that goes back and it's between both of them balanced. And now I'm just gonna let, as it goes down, I'm gonna let it float over here so the other knee can come up. And that's beyond just on your toe or whatever. And that's kind of nice because as you're doing it this way, you start to feel it at the top of this hip and there. So we basically got just about all of the back area, got the neck. I'm really focused on the shoulders, we'll get to them later. But just doing a simple move. Exhale all the way. Some people would say we only need to do the move once in a routine, or 3 times is good. But if you've got this fawn in the forest inside of you, this hesitant, that your inner confidence is just kind of like zero. Because you've had, oh, I do that, I get this shot of pain or whatever. So we need to give that scared little fawn chance to relax and trust us. Trust what we're doing. That it's only going to be to help it feel better. It's not going to ask it to do anything crazy. We're not lifting bags of wet sod here. Decide we're going to let somebody else do that. And hopefully they know how to do it, or they take a little bit out of the bag each time. Let the young people go lift that sod, and pretty soon young people have back problems. So when you do it, just keep relaxing, you know, you can listen to music, listen to TV. Just let your head and your eyes watch the hands. If your hip wants to turn, go ahead. There's all the weights here. So this toe, you can be up on the toe over here anyway. So just let it pivot. Then, give yourself a chance to relax. Let the fawn slowly come out from under the bush. Be brave. The reason we always say practice, practice, practice. And you get best at what you practice most. We want to practice in a way that such that it helps the body, not hurts. If we practice where it just feels so good, inhale. Then anxiety, tension, where we've got stuck. Now because we've been startled, something happened. We just let go. There's lots and lots of layers of those kinds of things back in there. Behind a tiny little group of muscles deep inside. This way we're just gradually massaging them, letting everything relax, letting it go. Keeping it going. Bruce is off the top. And it's instead of saying, well, we'll do it 3 times and we'll move on. If you don't have any confidence because you've been hurt doing something, if you're scared, whether you admit it or not, whether that fawn is going, oh no, I'm hiding clear back here. We need to give it a chance to just come out and know that it's safe. It's going to feel good. Once we get everything, so many times people will say, well, I've never done this before. And they say, okay, well, we'll do 5 sets of 3. So whatever it is, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, whatever it is. And say, that's it, that's good. And we talked about muscle memory. Well, part of what we're doing here, first we have to let go of old muscle memory that has turned into pain, stress, tension, etc. It can affect your mental outlook. So we're just going to let everything just go. Inhale. And as you do it, your body will gradually, broken record repeating it. As you do it, inhale, let it go. The more you slow it down, the more you'll be aware of how it feels. Right there, when you lift this hand up a little bit, how does that feel on the side? And it's balanced between both legs right there. Put the weight on this one. And this one can come up. I'm going to pivot on that one and just let the hip turn. Just let it turn as far as it wants to turn. We have no agenda for this hip. No one says you have to turn this far. They can go to the next room. We're just playing. Playing. Okay, how are you doing, gentlemen?
Well,
Doing good.
most of the pain is left now. A little tightness, but this dip really stretches. Because I got a pivot here, everything stretches this whole back. So right about here. Oh,
Let me get closer so I can see you, Ken.
yeah. Wagging the dog's tail helps. So as I'm
Right.
coming across, right, this dips, right, my shoulder dips, and that's when you feel the greatest stretch right there.
Yep.
Right, and then I let my little doggy tail wag as I'm coming up. Right? And sitting down here, but hardly any pain. Then I wag my tail. Come back over here. And it's just like 95% gone, the pain that I was having like
Mhm.
minutes ago. So it's that gyration.
Right, yeah.
Oh,
And the next part I was going to get into is putting in the dog wagging the tail with a circular hip, but I want to make sure everybody's cool first.
well, that's the thing is I'm doing this and then it says, I saw her just do a little wag. You do a little wag and so I'm gonna wag.
Ken, did you just tell me you were thinking?
Yeah, well, I saw and yes, I thought about it.
Yeah, like no thinking,
Well,
no thinking, son.
sometimes I fall to suggestion. How's that?
Okay.
And I'm just suggesting nature. This is it.
Charles, how are you doing with that?
I'm doing good. I can feel it's not a pain, it's just and right there in a little my back, just like kind of not real stiff, but I can just feel
Like a tightness.
yeah, like tightness or something. It's not
Mhm.
not a pain or anything, just tight,
Yeah, well,
And I
that's
still
started
moving
off
a
with
bit.
pain, and then it moved into tightness. And with the wag, I could really kind of loosen it up, putting that little tush of mine out there. And your back, and when you're doing the wag, I don't know how to put it. Anyway, so when you push that little hip out, right? When you push the hip out and bring it around, there's greater motion. So, yeah, that was this exercise really was right specifically on where my pains were this morning. Although we're doing the upper, right? But when we do this spiral twist and wag the tail, we get this whole range of motion, right?
Mhm.
That enables it to loosen up, stretch in different ways. I've noticed over the years that if I get into a position like an achy position, and I go down and I feel, oh, that feels good, and then I lock it in. Right when I pull out, there's more pain.
Right.
Through it, all right, not sort of sit in it, move through it, because if I just like right here's a little
Flow through it. Did you just say time about flowing and yeah?
Gotta go flowing through it. You can't lock into that area and stretching it harder because then I
No.
always end up with more pain.
Right.
And sometimes in a different place. And so it's always got to be the ebb and flow, this ocean, the lake, or whatever, into it and out of it. Into it.
And
But keep moving. If you put the movement of the Don Chin into this, right, the weight shift, the rotation, and the spiral, you put them all into it, right? And then you get it stretched this way and stretched this way and all these ways. And my muscles are begging. They're begging for fluid in, shit out, fluid in, debris out. All right.
Yeah.
So they're begging for that, and that's why they ache.
Yep.
because it's rigid. The muscles are rigid, and so everything just gets locked in place. And it takes a while to loosen this stuff up. You gotta move it in lots of different angles and open it up, and then you gotta flow through it. There's the pain there, but I'm gonna keep going.
I was thinking of another analogy. You know how sometimes kids will be maybe, a group's playing soccer, and a new kid comes up and parents say, "You want to go play soccer?" And they go, "No, I'm just going to watch. I'm just going to watch," because their inner confidence says, "You're going to make a fool of yourself," or
Yeah,
what.
right.
So,
They're
first
gonna run
thing-
over you.
yeah. So if we get rid of ego and let go of that not enough confidence, and let them watch, and then they are at that point, the scared little fawn of the forest goes, no, if I go out there, I'm gonna get hurt. And then they watch and they go, oh, well, they just kind of run them back and forth, and they may stop and talk a minute, then they go run back and forth. And if the ball comes, then they get to kick it or hit it with their head or something. But if I was just starting, I could just run back and forth with them and just be there. And so it's kind of like that with the body, where we go and then we hit a point of tension, or it's where we've got chronic pain or stress, anxiety stuck in there, and suddenly it's going, oh, no, I'm not going to do that. Don't pass the ball to me.
Yeah. Jeez, the best.
Don't pass
I
the
run
ball.
into, I have not a problem, but my pain, not pain, but when I'm watching, if I'm not watching everything straight on, I'm all right. But if I'm sitting straight and I got to look over here for watch screen or TV or something, after, 4 or 5 minutes, then I get ready to
Stiff.
go, turn back straight. And I got, it's kind of pain, it's not real pain, but stiff and all this stuff, And so I have to try to make myself, everything I need to do is watch straight on, instead of sitting here and watching way over there,
Just turn. Well, first of all, you're watching, just turn your hip instead of here. Just turn your hip.
That's a thought.
That's a good thought.
Well, when you twist your neck in one position like that, all the muscles are squeezed or stretched. They're in one
Blood
position,
circulation.
and you're not
Harder,
getting circulation, so the muscles sort of get cranky. And then if you somehow do manage to move where your range isn't into lock, right? Like if I'm looking over here, I don't know, you can do it, but it will stiffen up. But if I'm only looking a little bit, then I still have range of motion. So that might help.
Other thing, I'm sorry, Barjan. The other thing is that instead of turning it this way, if you're over here watching like this, and you're suddenly going, wow, don't just turn it, dip the head down, exhale, let it float back around and come back up. Like we were doing, dip the shoulder.
Right.
So where would I ever use this in the real world? Well, if I'm talking to somebody's like here and I'm going, maybe they're in the back seat of the car. Talk. Yeah, Pretty soon you go, whoa.
Yeah.
Then just kind of like your head dip down and let it turn back around to neutral when it's down. Inhale, exhale. Now say somebody over here wants to talk to you. Then bring it back up like we were just doing. Dip the shoulder, turn the hip this way. So it's like, where would I use this? Well, here's a couple places. If you're watching this and somebody says, oh, come here, look at what they're doing over here. And you're trying to go, yeah. That thing about the young monk says, what you do first thing in the morning is just, I'm going, we'll get there in increments.
Right.
And that way we won't be hurt. Everything is going to go.
Yeah.
Which is
I know when I'm in the group meeting, it's like this long table, me on both sides, and the psychiatrist at the end of the table, and we sitting here, so whenever he's talking, we kind of look that way and wait for him to get through, and then another person on the other end talk, then we,
The things we
You
do
wanna
to
look at them.
ourselves, yeah, the things we do to ourselves and the way we live. That,
Yep.
that stiff neck, and I vision, I've been on a million tables like that. You know,
Yeah.
one group, opposing groups for doing something technical problem. And, you know, there's somebody got a speech and they're talking about some aspect of it. And after a while, you know, you've been sitting straight and you're looking like this because you're expecting to move your head around. But because of the conversation, it just stays down there. And there you are, frozen and blocking yourselves up. When you're young, you can get away with that. But, you know,
To- doing it kind of rather discreet instead of just, you know, looking this way and, you know, because if you go from here to here straight across, it's gonna, your spine is gonna kind of crunch. So let's say that this person's talking, so I'm gonna dip my head down to get over here. And I'm listening. This one next to him, so I have to turn. Let your hip turn a little bit. Don't depend just on this. Let your hip turn. And now I'm feeling like I'm stuck. Everything's getting tired and tight. So I've got my paper pencil here, so I can just kind of dip down and maybe I just make 5 hash marks. It doesn't mean anything, but it gives you a chance to kind of bring it back up, and then you can go back down. And maybe you want to turn your hip a little bit more, find out what's working. Because a lot of times, you know, as you're going straight across, the shoulder blade will feel really tight. So that's the awareness, being aware of what feels okay and what is going on. Enough of this stuff. And then what can I do? If I was standing up in Tai Chi, I would dip my shoulder down, my head come up. You know, you can say, what's
Right.
okay over there? Oh, I thought I dropped my pen. I had to check the floor here. No, I got it. It's okay. You know,
Right.
they probably won't
Yeah,
say anything.
that's a good idea. Yeah.
Give yourself a little, like, that's why instead of just phones, you have paper, something that
Yeah.
you can use as I'm taking notes.
that's a very good thought.
Right. That's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we always sitting at a table, you know, we got hands up here and that's a good idea. I'll try that, you know, and try to, like I'm doing something and look up. Yeah,
Right,
that's a good idea.
right. You know, maybe you have an itch on your buns and you have to kind of turn this way to scratch them, whatever. There's a gazillion times that we can use Tai Chi every day in life.
Right.
Help us get rid of stress. We just have to be aware of them. And that's kind of what we're doing here. First, if you find yourself in a situation, dip the shoulder down and back up. And you know, let everything still make a circle, come back. Let the hip still, even if you're sitting there, let the hip turn. Maybe there's something in your jacket pocket back here, you think. So I'm going to turn my hip so I can reach in the pocket. The jacket's hanging on the back of the chair, and I can come back. You know, give yourself little opportunities to, when you get there, instead of just going, whoop, then just kind of, let me make a little note of this. And then you can kind of gracefully come around here, turn your hip. So you're not twisting your spine and everything's not getting, because, yeah.
I got one more question I need to answer you guys. If y'all got any ideas. It's not about Tai Chi, though, but when I went to the doctor the last few times, they told I don't have enough water, fluid in my body. I got to drink, you know, 16 ounce balls a day, supposedly. But I'm having a hard time drinking water.
Well,
you know,
beer.
I force it. I try to force it down in the morning, you know, but even when I went to the doctor the other day,
switch to beer.
and she said,
beer is it has a lot of water in it. It serves me, but it's only a small amount of alcohol. But there are a lot of active ingredients in beer, and it is
from the yeast and everything. Yeah.
Well, at least that's what they always told me.
Well,
I get full real quick drinking, even water, you know, beer. I could drink half a with a little can of beer, and I'm already full. You know,
Bubble,
I don't know.
bubbles.
Yeah.
Yeah. There, it's supposed to be in water, half of your weight in ounces. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you should drink 100 ounces, which is about 3 quarts of water a day. Beer, sorry, of water a day.
With the beer, 3 quarts of beer would be fine. Jesus.
Yeah. And she also told me coffee don't count. You know, I can't have the coffee. Coffee doesn't count
Water
as liquid. You know.
because people will convince themselves, well, if I drink 3 44-ounce Slurpees, Hawaiian floaty misty whatever color, that no, because it's got sugar, it's got the
Salt.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
salt blow you up, and it does things into your brain. We always think, well, if I drink, it's just from here down, but the things they're using to make it sugar-free, sugar substitutes,
Yeah.
all of that triggers. It's like, well, I just drink, diet so and such, but the thing they used as a sugar substitute chemically gets in your brain, and it
Tongue. The minute the tongue tastes something sweet, there's a chemical change.
Yes.
Right, where it's then going to try to use that energy versus the ketones that you get from digesting, breaking down fat. So the minute you put anything sweet in your mouth, whether there's any calories to it or not, right, your system goes from fat burning to sugar level, and if you have no sugar level, then things start getting messed up, and that's
you start craving sugar. It causes your hormones, enzymes, whatever little connections, like Ken was saying, anything sweet, and suddenly it changes and it starts craving sugar. That's why you see people. I have friends that have gained 200 pounds they didn't want to, and they're, well, I just have a diet so and such. I have a diet, bring me another diet so and such. And they think, well, it's just diet, so it's diet, it's no sugar in it. But what that diet is doing chemically, whatever they put in chemically to make it taste sweet like sugar, has other things it's doing to us as well.
it's
And
synthetic.
so
It's synthetic.
it's also synthetic. It's not. And the other thing, I think, I keep telling myself, I'm not going to let my taste buds control my life. Now, when I get close to chocolate, just turn your head.
Yeah.
Chocolate M&Ms, peanut M&Ms, turn
Yeah.
your head, walk away. Because once they touch that, I'm just craving a bag of myself.
Yeah. Once I see the chocolate, I really kind of want it. Man. Even when I see it, I like chocolate too.
Well, yeah, I'm crazy for chocolate. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's like sometimes a year it's easier to turn away from commercials, like the little marshmallow peeps at Easter. I'm over those. How
Boy,
corn
you
cake,
kidding me? I
how-
look forward to Easter just for the little marshmallow peeps.
I know you do.
My
I know.
wife likes the Cadbury eggs, but me, I like the little marshmallow, especially if you let them sit out for a while and they get a little stiff, and a little chewy. And you sort of tear their little heads off and
That's it. It's the caveman party at one time. Just rip
Yes.
piece,
Eat that
rip
little
it.
birdie, rip his head off.
Perfect. So
It is.
I think what I was back to the topic, whatever it was, is I want you, as we're doing these things, to be aware of how small changes are just first being aware. So if you're someplace and your back gets really tired, what can I do? Well, if it's tired, it's probably because it's being held in one spot. I may be holding it tense. Maybe I've got my shoulders back. So if I can relax my shoulders forward, and you don't have to immediately just go like that, just let your body gradually be aware that you're doing something to help it relax and feel better. And then it will start to expand and let go in that back where it was tight. If you just go from here to that, there's no time to be aware of. It's like we have to let our body know. What I'm doing right now is to relieve you of the pressure, the tension, and the pain. So I'm aware of what's going on back there. I appreciate you. I am listening. So from here, I'm just going to go. The other thing is this. Everyone thinks bigger is better. Hence, people that have 20,000 square foot homes. We don't, but you know, bigger, whatever. Flashier, bigger. And inside for the body is more like that initial pebble that you throw into a quiet pond. First little pebble you toss in there and it makes a tiny little hole and then it ripples out and ripples grow from there. And the body is more focused on the first little ripple than the big stuff that disseminates into nothing. So as you're doing the movements, where I'm going to have to stand up because I'm don't, but anyway, so come here, camera. Here we go. So many people when they're doing Tai Chi, you know, it's like, and they go.
Right, really out there, really out there.
And yeah, and if it's kind of, it's like da da
Ballerina.
and they're not aware of anything that's body's feeling. They're just caught up into, you know, look, I'm a ballerina. I've got scarves. I got wonderful things. I'm floating it all around like this. The body will react to small movements. So that's one of the reasons, you know, when we first started, we were doing like embrace the moon. Now I'm trying to keep it smaller and lower. Now, as I'm demonstrating some of these things, like, you know, dipping the shoulder, it's still kind of, I want to make sure you can see what I'm doing. But eventually, so if you get in a place that you're saying, wow, I would love to just do some Tai Chi and move around, but I don't think I can in this crowded elevator, whatever it is, then imagine doing it really small. So that, you know, you're just, maybe it's just here.
I do that.
So your body will take what small movements you're doing, and inside it's just letting go and going. We don't on the outside have to make what's going on in the inside visible. It can be kind of our own meditation, our own little daydream, our own dance of the seven scarves or something. But it's just, it can be really small. You'll get down to the point, that's kind of what Qigong is. Qigong is instead of making big movements, you know, you get in the position, you inhale, let everything just melt and relax down. Then you just do it again and again, but it becomes more and more inside the body, where there may be very little, no movement at all that people can see. But inside, you're feeling yourself expanding.
Right.
It's what Qigong is, working the energy inside. Energy working inside. So it's where nobody has to see it. And if, I don't know if you do or not, but you know, things like, the British royal soldiers that are guarding the palace or something, you know, have to stand like this, or outside the Vatican, probably all these places, they have to stand like this for 4 hours. I don't know.
Marines guards, you know, embassy guards all have to like a rock.
Yeah, and you see that, and they don't have no facial expression.
Yeah.
Everything is just, you know.
Wants to make blink your eyes and all that.
The 1,000 miles, the 1,000-mile stare is what we used to call it.
That's it.
You're
Find
looking out
something.
1,000 miles.
And that's it. So what you're going, don't focus on anything here. Find a point. If it's whatever, a window, something that's clear out there. And just that, inhale, you get where you can, as you inhale, imagine you're pulling all the energy from your feet, all the way up into your body, dantian. As you exhale, everything just. But the more you do it, the better you get at it. So where from the rest of the world, it just seems you like you're just not animated at all, right? So
There's a reason for it. All right, the 1,000-mile spot, it means that there are two aspects to your eye, what you're looking at and focused on, and the periphery.
Yep.
What you're looking at and focusing on is usually color. And that's where your mind is reaching. But if you do the 1,000-mile stare, what happens is now you begin to really live in the periphery. Now, the reason for this is because it's mostly black and white, it's mostly edges and stuff, the different cones and all that. What it amounts to is everything in the periphery, you pick up motion. When you're focused on something, you don't pick up on motion, right? When you're looking at all this black and white, it is very easy to detect motion. So if you're on guard, you're staring out there, you see movement everywhere. And there is this reptilian part of your brain that reacts to threats before you're even aware of it. So if you're focused on it and looking at it, right, you may not pick up on the signs, whereas you're not focused on it. It's a reptilian thing. You will move, you will react to it quickly if something is out of order, some kind of movement. So that's why they gave us that issue is looking straight forward, but seeing in the periphery, because that's where you're going to get, that's where the bad stuff. And one thing to Charles about your water intake, there are some things that you can use to help with that as somewhat, I don't know if you like it or not, cucumbers and cantaloupe.
Yeah, I like both of them.
Yeah, they're almost as powerful as Gatorade. All right, with
a lot
regards
for you.
as regard to the electrolytes, all right, in a sugar salt solution, which is when when they drip you at the hospital, that's just Gatorade without the flavor. All right, so if you want to. You can drink Gatorade. I don't like Gatorade, so I don't drink it very often. But I like cantaloupe, and I like cucumbers. And cucumbers almost like no calories. They're very easy to digest. You can
Amazing amount of nutrients in them.
but they're almost all water. They're almost all water. They have some fiber, but they have a really strong electrolytes, which is going to keep you feeling weak and stuff like that. So that's just something I do. I learned along the way because in the Marine Corps, we didn't drink that much water. There was something we did, which was, I can't remember the term, but was learning to go without water. All right. Drinking too much water, it makes you sluggish. All right, so water discipline, that was what it was. Water discipline. In the Corps, we were always supposed to stay somewhat thirsty. All right. Something about the biology, sweating and salt release. If you sweat too much, you got too much water, you sweat it. When you sweat it, out go your electrolytes. And now that's what leads to heat exhaustion. All right, so we try to retain as much water, but also stay very lean on water and only use it sparingly in order to have water, just because we can't always be sure that we're going to have water all the time. So we have to be able to go for long periods without water. And I've had a number of studies that I've looked at. I look at crazy shit where Americans take too much water. Americans are concerned about this 6-8 gallons and glasses and all that.
Yeah.
And the thing is, no, that's not true. I mean, throughout sweating, right? That's where the bulk of the water goes, is perspiration and not urination. So, you know, if you're out working hard in the field, something like that, drink water. But in a normal way,
Right.
or day to day, you don't need to drink that much water. It helps if you find a way to put the electrolytes in. So that's my cautionary tale.
Hello.
And we still got an hour in.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to go now. All right, be down in a minute.
Good. So you had mentioned
Okay.
something about wagging the dog's tail.
I'm back now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta.
Charles got
Yeah, I'm
to
gonna have to go. Yeah, I'm
You
gonna have
gotta
to
go,
go.
Charles?
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's just say goodbye.
yes.
Okay. All right. Appreciate y'all help today, and as always. And
God
I
bless
love you
Charles.
guys.
Yes,
You too.
take care. Know how much
Take
we
care.
love.
All
Bye.
right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So,
Hang in there. So wagging the dog's tail, you're talking.
well, yeah, that's the next part we add to what we were doing, is that but when we first learned to do, I gotta stand up.
Yes.
Can't do this stuff sitting down. Come here, camera, come here. So when we first started learning to wag the dog's tail, you know, kind of like shortstop position. And then we just kind of scoop up, put it out here, scoop up there. A lot of times people end up just kind of doing side to side.
Right.
It looks about the same, but what we were doing, let's say, dip down, inhale,
Yeah.
and then from here, we were talking about the weight is here, so this one can come up and can turn the hip. So now as we come back down, let that hip come out and turn us. So we let the hip lead, which is kind of a new concept.
It is kind of opposite.
Yeah, so if we're this way, and then you just kind of let that hip lead you over. And it takes me a while to get my circles going, but instead of just side to side, it's kind of like the hula hoop thing. It's, you know, you don't hula hoop side to side, you make a circle with your hips. So let's just use it in, let's say we're going to do stroking the bird's tail. Just over here. Inhale. The whole body leans out for ward off. And right here, my hip is going to turn, so it brings up this hand. Now, as I get ready to stroke, I'm going to shift the weight back to this hip. And let it take the weight as I go down. And then this one starts to take it as I come back up. It's going to stroke the bird's tail here. That we have here. Ward off. And there.
Stop banging around.
And instead of thinking about, okay, the weight's over here, not lined up right, my knee wants to let me know. Here, of course, the whole torso goes out. And then turn the hip, brings the hand up, then sit back. And turn the hip.
Yeah.
And get back. Turn. So like, like with your hip, it's going to strengthen. All this gets stronger, more lubrication, more all the good stuff at once. And it just feels like there's no weight on the knees, which may take a while. I have to get in the rhythm. I can't just jump up and do it. My, first few times my knee is going to go, what do you want me to do? I don't want to do that. But right here, from right about here, and just let your weight come back onto that back hip and turn it.
Yeah. Boy, that makes my back feel so much better.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. It feels, yeah, I know. It's just like, once you get there, it's just like nirvana or something, like, this is so neat.
Runner's high. Runner's high. I talk
Runner's
about it.
Okay. I'm sorry. Yesterday at the zoo,
Zoo.
at the garden,
Right. I saw.
first I was muted, then every time I would get close, if I'm over here 8 feet away, we're fine, but you were muted. And I would come closer to unmute you, and about the time I touched the computer, first time when I touched it, it disconnected.
Yes,
Then it
every
got-
time. All back and forth. It was on, it was off. It was on, it was
Yeah.
off.
And anytime I got within about 2 feet of it, it disconnected.
Well, you know why? Humidity, Body. Right?
Oh,
When it's humid, the
they're
signal
making-
is tampered. Right? So anytime you got it's high humidity, the range is really brought in close. Now, I'm not trying to make too much of it, but the body is a bag of salt water.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why you microwave food. You don't cook the meat, you cook the water. The water is what heats up. So any kind of water will absorb 2.4 gigahertz right off. It just absorbs it. That's why you have microwaves. And that's why I used to have problems in the vineyards, because as the leaves fruited out, that means there's a lot more moisture around the antennas. So, it would absorb the energy. I had to get the antennas above the top of the crop in order to because if I put them down in, because a lot of the things we did was inside the bunches, inside the leaf growth, because we're looking for relative humidity, temperature, the amount of light of different spectrums, soil moisture. So you got this moat is what it's called, which is a transceiver with memory and sensors. We could have a sensor going all the way into the ground for about 4 inches, so the core there, and then you got solar stuff and humidity stuff, and so the positioning of the moat was troublesome, because if you put it out there and you put it out there for months. All right, the idea is it can be mobile, but that's another story. You put it out there for a growing season, and then when right before the crush, we go in and scoop them all up, because the machines will tear the hell out of the antennas and the moats, okay, and the sensors. So it was important to understand how much vegetation you were influencing. I did this case study with Santa Cruz, University of Santa Cruz.
Mhm.
And it was about forest, because there's a lot of forest around there. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
redwoods and stuff. And they were
Right.
working with the local fire department, the fire groups about, can we set up a sensor? Can we set up an array? And the answer was yes, but at 2.4 gigahertz, right, the range within the forest was almost just 100 feet line of sight, because all the trees were full of moisture. And so 2.4 gigahertz is the standard, but there are two other frequency bands, which are ISM bands, which is in instruments, scientific and medical, which is a free band, but it's no proprietary. That's why everybody has garage door openers and microwaves that they manufacture. There's no standard as far as anyways, I diverge. So the point was, when we started doing the studies, they said, hey, how come, they come to me and said, how come we can only get this, supposed to have 100 yards? I can't get 100 yards. It's too much moisture. You're in the woods. If you have a clear line of sight, you can probably do it. But if you don't have a clear line of sight and you're trying to go through trees, they're going to dampen that down to nothing. So you could change to a different frequency, which is to move to a lower frequency, because it will pass through the water. 953 megahertz or 419 megahertz with two other ISM bands. But the problem is, because they're lower frequency, the transfer rate of data is much slower. Right. So there's always that compromise. Anyway, water, I guess.
That makes perfect sense, because I thought there's something about my energy is turning this thing on.
This Kirlian field, you have an electromagnetic signature. All right. And you are a big bag of salty water, as we all are, So particularly if you get between the transceivers, right? Or even if you get close to one transceiver, right?
Mhm.
You absorb so much of the energy, right, that doesn't get sent out. I mean, you're like a big black wall, and that substantially reduces the amount of energy transferred into the atmosphere, because it's not just direct line of sight. There are echoes. All right. There are echoes. That's why I talked about using the Wi-Fi was a MIMO. All right, which is multiple in, multiple out antennas, which allow you to take all the reflections, the echoes, and absorb them and add them to the signal strength, which means the signal to noise ratio is stronger. All right, and that means you can discern the bit better. So anything, anything that contains water, a bush, a tree, the atmosphere, if it's very humid, that attenuates the signal dramatically. So
that makes sense, because it's been so humid,
Yep.
Yeah.
You get the cold winter and the humidity drops to nothing, and all of a sudden you've got a much stronger signal.
Yeah.
But these are details we need to work out. And there's some things I noticed, like we need something. I'm going to start looking for a device that will hold the iPad, so that I have this one here, right? It's can't see it, but it's got a grip down there, a gooseneck up to a mount, and then the mount is where you put the camera. Now that won't work because you don't have a mount. You don't have a camera mount on an iPad.
No.
So what we need to identify and figure out is I'll look like, microsource, and see if they have something that will hold in a tablet, essentially a tablet, and grip it, because I know I've seen it. And so then you can attach it to the table and position it anywhere you want, and there it does. But of course, I don't know if you noticed, but when I shake it,
Mhm.
signal, but as long as you're not bouncing against the whatever's holding it. So I'm going to go ahead and look.
So
See if I can find one of those for an iPad.
let me show you what, like, at when on Tuesdays, when we're doing it at Loman, they have numerous high chairs for infants. One of them is on rollers. I wheel that over and I prop up like my book bag or my suitcase I carry things in there, and the iPad up against it, and it works really well. And I
Well,
turn it
yeah,
on.
good, but you can't haul that around.
Well, no, that's just in there. Then let me show you what I've been doing in the zoo. Hold on, at the garden. When I have a lot of equipment, instead of my backpack getting very heavy, I've been putting in this little roll-on.
That's
And-
very smart. Yeah, that's smart. Everything can be put in there. You can put all
Air
sorts.
rolling around, lots, and it's got nice square. So I can prop it up this way and put the iPad, you know, I don't know if you can see.
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
put it that way and set the iPad on it. I can turn it up on, oops, goof it up on end and set it here. And there's in the garden where we are under that awning thing, there's the brick wall and there's a ledge about that deep. I've tried putting it up on the ledge, and as long as I put something underneath, so if it falls, I can bounce it and stay here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this has become really useful as a platform.
All right. Now show it to me again. And I'm looking for the extender arms, the handle.
Yeah.
You have, can you show me?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. See, what I'm thinking is you can sit that up, attach your iPad to that arm, right? And now you're at the right height. It's stable, right? And it's there all the time. Now, let me just show you something here, just very quickly. Right, and you'll look at.
Hang on. I'm going to stop the recording because people
Okay.
out there in the world don't probably care about us talking about clamps and things. Hold on a second here. Whoa. Trying to figure out how I can.
On live, you're on YouTube.
Oh, shoot, I need to get rid of that too.